you for taking out your valuable time on a Saturday morning and giving your kind association. So reading Bhagavad Gita is one of the foremost limbs, one of the very, very important limbs. Sadhu Sangha Nama Kirtana Bhagavat Shravana Mathura Vasa Shri Murtira Sadhya Sevana. Amongst the 5 most important limbs of Bhakti, in the 64 limbs of Bhakti, one of them is Bhagavat Shravana. Bhagavat means spoken by God, Krishna, and that's Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam as well, and spoken about Krishna. Both are Bhagavat Shravana. Reading, hearing, chanting, it's all part of Shravana. So, and especially when we do in the association with devotees, when we talk about Krishna, when we discuss about Krishna, when we hear about Krishna in the association of devotees, a very magical thing happens. You all want to know what happens? Satam prasange, Satam, all of you are Sat, sadhus. Mama virya samvedu, grinanti hritkarna rasayana katha. When we hear this rasayan, this nectar, this aushadhi, with the medium of our ears, it goes in the heart. Tajoshar, Mahad apavarga vartamani, Shraddha, Ratir, Bhaktir, Anukramashyati. 3 things increase, Shraddha, Ratir, and Bhakti. Shraddha is our faith, our attachment to Krishna. Rati is attachment. And Bhakti is devotional service, loving devotional service. It will increase step by step, krame krame, when we come together and it's like just being there, these outcomes will happen. We don't have to do anything separate. This is the power of Bhakti. And I'm sure all of you can feel it. So thank you again for taking out your time. Let's do a quick recap. Anyone remembers what we discussed last time? Any slightest idea, any point which you liked, anything you remember from last time? Let's take 1 or 2 reflections. We were discussing chapter 6, and today we'll try to complete it if Krishna willing. We have discussed till text 36. If you want to make a point, the best thing is to raise a hand, and there's a button for that in your apps, phones, iPads, whatever you are using. So I think Aparna Mataji wants to say a point. Yes, please.
You said that Krishna consciousness, it should not be in a haste. One should be in a right direction and climb gradually. And the mind should be controlled while attaining the Krishna consciousness.
Very nice. Thank you so much. We discussed the point, krame, step by step, continual improvement. We did, it's not that bhakti or love of God is an overnight thing. For maybe one rare case, but for most, because of our past conditioning is so high, it's not so easy to overcome the challenges, the false, the illusions. So it takes time, it takes practice, etc. Very nice point. And one must continue to make steps, krame, even if baby step, but moving in the right direction is important. Very nice. Anyone else wants to share a point before we jump into today's discussion? Yeah, Shidal Mataji, please. Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam to all devotees. Arjuna says that controlling mind is a very difficult task, that he can control the air, the wind, but controlling mind is difficult. So Krishna tells him that with suitable practice and detachment, that is possible. Hare Krishna.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So suitable practice and detachment. So we have one more verse about the mind. So let's now go into the discussion and we will talk more about those verses and we'll talk more about the mind. Remember, the acronym is EASY. Bhakti Yoga is easy. So remember, we are starting Bhakti Yoga from chapter 7. This is Dhyana Yoga. But the easy way to remember the easy acronym is that Bhakti is easy. E stands for eternal enemy, mind. The first few verses talk about that. Then is the Ashtanga Yoga till text number 36. which we have covered, or we have covered till 35. What are the Ashtanga Yoga principles? How does that person see? And we discuss many examples of how to see God everywhere. Text number 6.30. For one who sees me in everything, and everything in me, I'm never lost. And we discuss few stories and special video also around that theme. So I hope you all remember that. And then we come from the A of Ashtanga Yoga to S of successful versus failure, success versus failure. And that will be the main topic for today. And we will see very soon how Arjuna asked a question that what is the situation of someone who is not successful in the path of bhakti? Okay, so let's start with some prayers. Om Ajnanatirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pisthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Bhagavad Gita Kinchitadita Ganga Jalalava Kanika Pita Sakri Deva Murari Samarchana Kriyeta Yamina Charcha Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, seeking your humble blessings and prayers before we begin reading this chapter, the last section of this chapter, Bhagavad Gita, from 6.36 onwards. Yes, as Shital Mataji said, this was the last verse we read last week, still 35. By practice, and those who want to memorize, important verse here. Asanchayan Mahayogo Mano Durnigraham Chalam Abhyasena tu Kanteya Vairagyena cha Griyate, by Abhyas and Vairagya. And if you remember, we discussed Vairagya there means detachment. Detachment means the fault finding mentality. Sound weird. Fault finding is not good, but fault finding in the bad things is very good. Let me explain that. For example, eating let's say non-vegetarian food, or eating 10 samosas is not good for health, right? So if I find faults in there, okay, if I eat that, I will get disease, I will get unhealthy body, I will not be able to serve Krishna. So this is like fault finding in that. If I succumb to the dictations of my mind, then I will, these things, bad things will happen to me. So that's basically fault finding, so which can avoid us from doing that bad act, which is not conducive for our spiritual life. So let's read. Yes, I think Anita Mataji is ready, and anyone who wants to read can raise their hands so you all can get chance. Please.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Asan yattatmana yogo dusprapa iti me mati vas yatmana tu yatata sakyo vapatum upayata. Translation: for one whose mind is unbridled, self-realization is difficult work. But he whose mind is controlled and who strives by appropriate means is assured of success. That is my opinion. Hare Krishna. Back to you, Prabhuji.
People, thank you so much. Very, very important verse. Bhakti and sense gratification, unregulated sense gratification cannot go together, right? Very simple. If one has a disease, let's say, some of you are doctors here. If one has a disease, the doctor prescribes some do's, take this medicine, do this, do this, do this in the morning, do that in the evening. But the doctor also prescribes some don'ts. So for example, if someone has a severe throat infection and fever, and the doctor will give maybe some antibiotic or some medicine. I don't know all that stuff, but we all have experienced that. But the doctor will also say, don't eat ice creams, don't eat oily food, don't drink colas. It's like you try to do something to help you by taking medicine. On the other side, you try to do something which will harm you. It won't happen. In the holy scriptures, it is mentioned, Satatam ki satatam smartavya Vishnu vismartavya na jatu chit. Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. All the rules and regulations are subservient to this rule. What is that rule? Always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. Now, one of my aunts was asking this question, was getting initiated very soon. We are praying for that. In Faridabad, actually, my mother, my father, my aunt, two of my aunts, Mosi, Mommy, my all like blood, not like extended family. So please pray for them. Keep them in your prayers and blessings. So she was asking this question: Why this Krishna saying like the same thing? Remember Krishna, not forget Krishna. Doesn't like sound same? So it's basically like we have to accept what is favorable and we have to reject what is unfavorable. It may sound same, but it is important. Let's take the example of burning a wood. Imagine this is a piece of wood in my hand, right? And if I have all the tools to burn the wood, whether it's the matchstick, whether it's the lighter, oxygen, everything is there, okay? So will the wood burn? What do you say? If I have all the tools to burn the wood, it's a big log of wood, will the wood burn?
No, Prabhuji.
No? Why? If I try to attempt it, it will burn. It will take some time, right? Because it's a big log of wood. It will burn, correct? But it'll take some time. So that's like the slow path or moderate path. Now, if the same wood, if I apply, let's say, ghee on it or coconut oil, camphor, etc., will it burn? It will burn. It will burn better, faster, easier. You all agree with that? Right, very nice. Now the same wood, same tools, same person, same everything. Instead of applying combustible substances like oil, ghee, etc., I soak that wood with water. So what has happened here? The favorable things are there, but the unfavorable things have also come into picture, which will make the process very, 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 very slow. Similarly, mind control is very, very important in bhakti. It's not that whatever mind says enjoy, eat happy, eat, sleep, be merry, live life, king size, khao piyo, moj karo. All these are common slogans. Just do it. Forget about tomorrow. Life is meant to enjoy. Work hard, party harder. This is not bhakti yoga. This is sense gratification, right? For one who is sincere, has a regulated lifestyle, regulated in eating, regulated in sleeping, regulated in recreation. We are not saying to stop living, stop job, stop family, stop recreation, stop your family. No, everything needs to be regulated and channelized in a good way. So what does the good substances represent? The association of devotees, the sadhu sangha, reading regularly, hearing regularly. That will help to ignite the fire of bhakti easier. If one thinks, no, I am doing mala at my home, I am reading Bhagavad Gita at my home, I'm fine. Okay, that's fine, but that's not the best thing. The progress will be slow, and potentially the mind is so wicked, right? Mahashano Mahapapma Vidyenam Iha Verinam. It's a big enemy. One day it will trick us and we'll stop the process. Correct? Therefore, to have good environment, favorable environment is very important, and that's the association of devotees. And to have unfavorable environment is like putting the water on that wood. It will choke up the fire of bhakti, and eventually one may stop practicing Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is saying we have to control the mind. For one whose mind is unbridled, bridle means control or regulation, or one whose mind is unregulated, it will not lead to self-realization. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur also used to say this. Every day, the mind is very, very difficult to conquer, right? How many of you think it's more difficult to conquer the mind than to conquer a wild lion? Right? The acharyas gave that it's more difficult to conquer the mind than a wild lion in the jungle. The mind is so difficult. And we could be doing something physically, but the mind could be doing something else. Mind could be contemplating on something. So Radhanath Maharaj was explaining that one could be doing arti in the temple in front of the deities, but one could be thinking of something totally not good for one's bhakti. On the other hand, one could be externally in a bad situation, but could be still thinking of Vrindavan, Dham, Shyamasundar. So very, very important. We are where our mind is. So basically we have to say no. We have to say no to the wrong things which the mind will ask for. By beating the mind every day with shoes and broomsticks. I want to read one purport from the Bhagavatam. If the yogi gives, Bhagavatam 5.6.4, if the yogi gives his mind a chance and does not restrain it, his mind will give facility to enemies like lust, anger, and greed, and they will doubtlessly kill this yogi. In the purport, this is a part of the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say that in the morning, our first business should be to beat the mind with the shoes 100 times, and before going to bed, beat the mind 100 times with broomstick. In this way, one's mind can be kept under control. So in short, we have to keep the mind under control through the medium of higher intelligence. Now, higher intelligence, where will it come from? From Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, right? If the mind says, oh, let's go out for in a bar to enjoy some alcohol, right? Then my friends are going, my peers are going. And then if one's intelligence is not nourished, we'll say, yeah, sounds like a very good idea. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Everyone, let's go. But one whose intelligence is strong, because intelligence is higher than the mind, will say, no, you have vowed to your guru, you have vowed to your mentor. How can you cheat them? How can you say, you vowed in front of Agni, you vowed in front of the devotees that you will not do all these things. You will have a regulated life. And it will spoil your money, it will spoil your consciousness, it will spoil your everything, it will spoil your family life. Why do you want to do that? So the intelligence has to come and beat the mind and defeat the mind. Now the question is, will the intelligence win? Will the mind win? What do you all say? Who will win? Will the intelligence win, or will the mind win? Are you able to follow this mind intelligence dialogue? Does it happen to anyone here? Right? It happens every day, getting up in the morning. Right? An example. Mind will say, well, today is Saturday, take it easy. You can chant. Okay, you have to chant. Mind will say, yeah, but you can chant later at 10 o'clock, maybe 10 a.m., 10 p.m. Whole day is there. Intelligence will say, well, last Saturday also you said that. and you didn't get up on your time. And then mind will say, well, look at that devotee. He also gets up at 8 a.m. He is also fine. He also has 2 hands, 2 legs, working fine. It's also chanting, right? Intelligence will say, no, 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 no. Look at that devotee. He chants every day at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. The mind will say, no, no, but yesterday you were extra tired, right? Therefore, you need extra sleep. Intelligence will say, well, every day you say the same thing. Gaur-Gopal Prabhu came to our college and had a wonderful mind intelligence dialogue. In everything this happens, whether it's getting up in the morning, eating the extra roti, going out somewhere, we all know our strengths, we all know our weaknesses, we all know where we have a difficult time saying no. The more we say no, guess what? The next time the strength to say no will increase. The more we give into the dictations of the mind, the next time the strength to say no to the bad things and yes to the good things will be low, right? So by practicing saying no to the wrong and yes to the right, we will have more strength next time. Do you all agree with that? So we have to develop our spiritual strength, our spiritual muscles to say no to the bad and yes to the good, right? And it will become with practice. So keep saying it whenever the mind intelligence dialogue comes. Nourish the intelligence every day through reading, through hearing, through chanting, etc. And ultimately, this is the real goal of life. If you don't do it, then, and sometimes it's a very nice story, actually. I'm spending a little time here because it's an important topic, and then we'll jump into another topic. The senior Vaishnava has mentioned a story. How many of you travel in trains, and that to fully packed trains? Some of you, right? Most of you have traveled in Bombay or Delhi, everywhere. It's almost fully packed because of the people like free massage in India, so they pack the train fully. So anyway, so the devotees mentioned the story that how the mind comes, how the mind says, just do this little bit. You don't have to do everything, just a little bit. Okay, just try, in college, that's how they tempt. You don't have to drink the whole bottle of alcohol. Try a little bit. Try one cigarette. Try one, cup of whatever, intoxication. It's very practical because some of you will be going to college soon. So this happens everywhere. Try a little bit. Try a little bit. In what they say in Hindi, Savdhani hati durghatna gati. Even little room we give, as per we are discussing in this purport as well. If the yogi gives his mind a chance, a little chance, what will happen? The mind will swap it away, right? The mind will give facility. His mind will give facility to enemies, lust, anger, and greed. So imagine you're sitting in a train. It's a 3-passenger seat, means 3 people can sit. Can anyone type in the chat how many people must be sitting in the train with a 3-passenger seat? At least 5. It's not 3, right? You know that. See, Krishna Mataji is laughing because she knows that. So at least 3, 4. If 3 are sitting, it's luxury. If 4 are sitting, it's comfortable. If 5 are sitting, it's average. If 6 are sitting, then it's like it. So already 4 or 5 people were sitting. There was no room in there for anyone else to sit. Even a child could not sit in there. But here comes a big fat lady, with no offense to anyone, with 5 children. They're all different age groups. One in the lap, one in the arm, 1, 2, 3, here and there, all moving around. But there's no offense to kids, we should always give a seat to the kids. But the point is the lesson we are trying to learn here. So she asked, well, my little child is really tired. Can you give a little room? This person, all of those were also very tired from a hard day of work. Everyone is tired. No one is, comfortable, but somehow they're all thinking. And so, okay, let's give little room. And then the 2-year-old sits in there. And then suddenly the 4-year-old complains, well, if the 2-year-old is sitting, then I also want a seat. And then he starts throwing tantrums. I want a seat. And then everyone So now somehow they really squeeze in, and then somehow the 4-year also sits. And now the 4-year also is sitting. And now the 8-year-old starts to throw tantrums. Well, both of them are sitting. I want a seat too. Now there is really no more room. Already on the seat of 3, there were 5 people, and now they have squeezed in 2 more kids somehow. Now one person has to get up. Okay. Now one person had to get up. The 8-year-old sits. And now suddenly she says, well, I have to feed my little 2-month-old. Now the big lady has to sit. Now one more person has to get up. And now the other person has to get up. So practically the people who were sitting there are out. And now this new family is sitting. But the point is, with no offense to ladies, no offense to, we should always give seats to those who are in more need. That's not the point. But the point here is, little room we give will take the mind. As per in Bhagavad Gita, even the mind is wandering of one of the senses. It will sway away everything, right? Because for humans, all the senses are active. Eyes want to see something nice. The skin wants to feel something nice. The ears want to hear something nice. And guess what? The outside world is not there to remind us of Krishna. The outside world is to allure us. You go to a mall, the music, the passionate environment is all there to provoke us. It's very scientifically and to understand the psychology. It's very the music in these shopping complexes and stuff is very systematically marketing strategy and whatnot. The environment, the colors, the positioning of the products. There is all research behind this to provoke the individuals, to allure the individuals to buy more, to succumb more into the Maya. So we have to keep our bridle strong, lagam strong, the intelligence strong. Otherwise, the senses will wander because they are like wild horses. And if they keep wandering, then spiritual life will be difficult. Krishna is saying that. Then what's the best way? What's the best way to control the mind? Is by engaging in Krishna consciousness. This is real samadhi. Only Sadhanath Maharaj was explaining this point. When let's say we are for a book distribution, some of you are going for the monthly Sankirtan festival today, so that's amazing. Guess what? There is no room to be distracted there, right? You agree with that? Because in a few seconds, you have to explain the other person about something which he does not want to hear. Right? He has come for grocery shopping there, or she has come for grocery shopping. You have only a few seconds. So how much focus one needs to be, right? What the right kind of words, praying to Krishna, Krishna, please help me. Please help me. As Prabhupada was praying, I don't have any abilities. You sit on my tongue and let the right words come out. In preaching, there is no room for sense gratification. There is no even thought what to speak of the physical. One cannot even think. When one is in the association of devotees, everyone is chanting, dancing, happy, jubilate, and in ecstasy of bhakti. There is no room to think of sense gratification. Empty mind, devil's workshop. So one of the very important point to control the mind is to keep it busy. Keep it busy, not in watching movies and games, but in Krishna consciousness. In productive Krishna consciousness. Then there will be no room. Because one will say, oh, after this class, I have to do this. After that, I have to cook for Krishna. After that, I have to go for MSF. After that, I cook dinner. After that, I have to take care of some household things. There's no room. Like Haridas Thakur, the prostitute came to allure. Haridas Thakur said, well, I will entertain you, but let me chant my rounds. Let me chant my round. Let me chant my rounds. He was always chanting, Namacharya. No room for Maya. Right? That's the trick for mind control. If we give room, especially in the neophyte stage, which refers to me, all of you are very sincere, the more, and I have experienced this, and quick show of hands, let me see who all kind of feel the same. When the day we don't have, good plan, good Krishna consciousness activities, then we are more distracted. When we have a lot of engagements in Krishna consciousness, we feel so nourished, so happy, so Krishna conscious. Raise your hand if you agree with this idea. right? I see most of you agree with this idea. And that's a perfect plan. When we are so busy in Krishna consciousness, there is no room for idle time. There is no room for thinking about material sense gratification. So in this way, the Supreme Lord is guiding us that we should reject the unfavorable, accept the favorable, control the mind, avoid the bad things, accept the good things. This is the perfect formula. In a cycle, this recently read this example, a cycle which is stationary cannot be balanced. Yes or yes? The cycle which is moving is balanced, right? The two tires of the cycle. Well, that will be a separate topic of the whole cycle story. But the point is, keep moving. Krishna consciousness movement. His Grace Visheshika Prabhu says moving. We are a movement. We should keep the things moving. In bhakti, we should keep moving. In planning, and therefore, bhakti, there are so many festivals. Like right now, all the festivals, major festivals, Janmashtami, Balram Purnima, Radhashtami just passed. The Shara is coming, and then the Damodar month, the whole month of festivals. Every day is a festival, and that's so many festivals. Go Puja, Go Krida, and then Bahulashtami, and so many Govardhan Puja. We should celebrate these. It's one of the 64 limbs. This will give no time to sense gratification. If we give time, they will be. Now, that does not mean that one should burn up. One should take care of one's health, one's profession, one's academics, etc. But have time, time for everything in its place, and a place for everything. All the good things, I mean. Any comments here before we move? Now, the topic is changing from this verse, but all these verses were about mind control from 35. Arjuna's question about in the 30. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's now move to the E, A. We have covered E and A. Now we come to the S of success or failure. Okay, from 37 onwards. Yes, Aparna Mataji, please read this verse. Lakshay Prabhu.
Yes, please. Arjuna Uvacha Ayati Shradhyopito Yoga Kalita Manasa Aprapya Yoga Samsidam Kam Gatim Krishna Gachati. Translation. Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the destination of an unsuccessful transcendentalist who in the beginning takes to the process of self-realization with faith, but who later desists due to worldly mindedness and does not attain perfection in mysticism." Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you so much for reading this verse. So this is text number 37. And as I mentioned, the topic is EAS, success or failure. So in 3 verses, basically, Arjuna is asking a question. So let's read those 3 verses and then we will discuss those together. Let's read 38. Yes, Vedi, want to read?
Hare Krishna. Kachino bhaya vibrashtash chinna brahm eva nashyati aprashtitho mahabhaho vimudo brahmanapati. Translation. O mighty armed Krishna, does not such a man who is bewildered from the path of transcendence fall away from both spiritual and material success and perish like a riven cloud with no position in any sphere? Haribol.
Paul, thank you so much. So again, elaboration on the same question. Let's read 39 also, and then we'll discuss these 3. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, please.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Text 39. Etanme sansayam Krishna chetum arhasi aseshatah twadanya sansaya syasya chetana hi upadyate. Translation: This is my doubt, O Krishna, and I ask you to dispel it completely. But for you, no one is to be found who can destroy this doubt. Haribol.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. These are the three questions asked by Arjuna. Actually, Arjuna is not asking for himself. We all know this. He's asking for ourselves, right? Because how many of you had this doubt at some point, or someone asked this? Well, if you do bhakti, anyone is not successful, bhakti is not easy, and then you are taking out some time from your material life, and then you are like a riven cloud, neither here nor there, right? Did you all at any point, or someone asked you this kind of question? Or you had in your mind this kind of doubt? It may come sometimes. I'm giving my time here, I'm giving my energy, I'm doing seva, or someone else may ask, like, what are you getting? And what if you don't achieve the success, if you don't achieve the perfection stage, what will happen? Because what people link it through is through material life. In material life, what happens? If a person is, let's say, attempting for an exam, there are some exams which are very difficult to crack. Like, let's say in India, UPSC exams, IAS, IPS, all that stuff. Even medical exams, engineering exams. Some exams are, people prepare for years, right? You agree with that? People prepare for many, many years. Do all of them go through? No, all of them don't go through. Even after they go through, let's say, even after one becomes a millionaire or whatever they want, billionaire, respected position in society, etc., in the next life, can anyone assure that they will be coming in the same position? Even if one is a PhD, in the next life, they have to start from LKG, right? Or pre-kindergarten, whatever the starting grade is, right? Even if one is a millionaire, one could be a beggar in the next life, right? And to attain that point, it takes a lot of hard work, right? Let's contrast the bhakti versus the material. So in material life, results matter. Efforts don't matter. Even if, let's say, one is very, very bright, intelligent, and in the mock exams, and all the exams, people can forecast if this person is doing so excellent in the mock exam, he's sure to get a good grade or a good rank in the competitive exams, right? We have all been through those stages. So in the mock exam, someone is getting excellent rank, excellent everything, knows everything in and out. But just before the day of the exam, he gets a severe disease and he can't even move from the bed. What do you think? Will the competitive exam conducting authorities give him a rank that you got excellent in your mocks? You did a lot of hard work. You spent your day and night studying for this. Therefore, you are given this rank without the exam. No. But in Bhakti, it's there. Jatayu was a success or failure. Jatayu externally was a failure, right? He could not protect Mata Sita. He tried to protect, but he could not protect, right? He tried his best, gave up his life, but in the eyes of Lord Ram, he was a great success. Because what is the biggest success of life? Antakale chamami vasmaran mukta kalevram yaprayati samantava jnati tiastra sanshaya. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam. Vinita, what's the continuation? You know this verse? Yam yam vapi? 8.6, I think.
Yam yam vapi swaram bhavam.
Tyajate.
Yeah. Huh?
Avani will help.
Yam yam vapi smaram bhavam tyajate ante kalevaram tam tam evati konteya sadatad bhava bhavita.
Wonderful. Thank you. All of these kids have memorized the 50 important verses of Bhagavad Gita. This is amazing. So the point is, for Jatayu, when he was leaving the body, Lord Ram did his final rites. Can there be a better destination than that? No. In Bhakti, the efforts are counted. The intentions are counted. Hmm. In material life, the results are counted. Efforts don't matter. So this is Arjuna's question. What will happen? Let's say if someone does 10% bhakti, what will happen to that person? But if someone does 90% bhakti, is not able to complete, what will happen? So very important question. And whom should we approach to ask these questions is also important. Arjuna is saying to the Supreme Lord, only you can help me to destroy these doubts. Only Krishna and a bona fide representative of the Supreme Lord can help. Sometimes if we ask, oh, I know I'm doing bhakti, but sometimes I'm doing material life also. Oh, we ask our co-worker who is totally materialistic person, what happened? I'm like struggling to balance. What will be their first response? Hey, you're spending 2 hours in your spiritual life, give up that. That will be the first response because they don't have that understanding. So questions should be asked to the right person also. In bhakti, it's not that the extra we use time in Krishna's service. Actually, whatever we give to Krishna, Krishna gives multi-fold times more. So it will help us to be, and I can certainly say myself, and I'm sure you all can feel that also in your lives, when we come to the path of bhakti, our life becomes so efficient. All the non-value added things in the life will go away, which distract us, which take us our precious time, energy, resources. And we live a simple life, keeping Krishna as the center. So it's not that we lose time or we cut down the non-value added things and use it in the right way for Krishna consciousness. This is Krishna consciousness. So one should not be fearful. One time someone asked Prabhupada, you guys are, every day, the day begins with chanting, dancing, Mangal Arti, then nice reading from scriptures, chanting, Guru Puja, and then you have a nice prasadam, which we all love, right? And then again, you're meeting so many people and sharing with them Krishna consciousness, sharing these books, etc. What your whole life is God, Krishna, Krishna. What if at the end of the life you realize that there is no God? Okay, this is a hypothetical situation. It's not that I think God is there or I think God is not there, right? We have to refer to the scriptures. Prabhupada said, look at us. We chant and be happy. We have feasting, we have fasting, we have so many nice devotees, friends who love us more than our own family members. We have a nice community where we all live together in a peaceful environment. We are spreading world peace and happiness. We are sharing joy. Our devotees they have given up all the bad habits and they're living a pure Krishna conscious life. They're happily doing it. They love doing what they're doing. And they are so glorious. Now you tell me, you are living a miserable life, every day struggling, and no God consciousness, no remembrance of God. What if God is there? Then the Yamadutas will come and punish you in the hellish planets. So, in short, there is no loss on the path of bhakti. Who can tell a verse from the scriptures, from chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita? In this process, there is no loss. There is only gain. Who knows? Veda knows. Tell.
And Neha Bikrama Nashosti Pratyavayo
Navidyate
Navidyate
Swalpam.
Apyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat.
Very nice. Even a little progress on the path of bhakti can save one from the greatest dangers. It's another contrast. In bhakti, even little progress will save from the greatest danger. Can we say that for the material life? One could become doctor, engineer, multi-billionaire, but will that save one? One could have a family of 50 people. One could have a 10 mansions, 10 cars, but will all that save at the time of danger? Did Gajendra's wife saved him? Did Gajendra's strength save him? Did Mata Draupadi's husband save him? Did his guru save him? Did his uncle and aunts and grandfather save him? When death is face to face, prana prayana samaye kafavata kutte, then no one can save, only Krishna can save. Yatra mrityu parasparam pahi pahi mahayogin deva deva jagapati. Na anyad, na anyad. No one else can save. Krishna only you can save. We should approach the Supreme Lord and the bona fide devotees and have no doubt that there is anything to lose in the path of bhakti. Rather, there is only gain and gain. And let's see how Krishna answers these questions of Arjuna, who is asking, what's the destination of an unsuccessful person? Will he be like India, they say, Dhobi ka kutta na ghar ka na ghat ka. So material life be gaya and spiritual life be gaya. Material life also, he's, maybe compromised a few things here and there. And in spiritual life also, he didn't get anything. So what will happen to him? Like a riven cloud, broken, But this is Arjuna's question. Let's see what's the answer. Yes, Aparna Mataji, you want to read 640? Yes, Mataji, you can go next. No?
पार्थ नवे नाम मित्र विनाशते से विदते नाहि कल्याण कृतिका हर कृषाया तत् गच्छति. Translation: The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, son of Pritha, a transcendentalist engaged in auspicious activities, does not meet with destruction either in this world or in the spiritual world. One who does good, my friend, is never overcome by evil. Back to you, Haribo.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. Okay, we'll read 41 also and then we'll discuss these two verses together. Yes, Sampada, what did you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prapya punya kritam lokan utsitva sasvati samaha suchinam shimatam gehe yoga prasto pijayate. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Samshruta. The unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. So let's discuss the response of the Supreme Lord in text 40. Durgatim tatta gacchati. So that person who does good, and what's the topmost good? Krishna consciousness, will never be overcome by evil. Okay, that means there is no risk here. In the path of bhakti, there is no risk. There is only gain. Whether one does 10%, 5%, 50%, or 100%, or 99.9%, there is no loss on this path. As we discussed, 2.40 verse speaks that. And anyone else tells, Krishna says a verse that I carry what, I protect what, I preserve what they lack and carry what they have. You remember that verse in chapter 9, Avani? Yeah.
I think it's 9.22. Ananyaschintayanto mam yejana paripashyate Tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yoga ksheham vahamyaham.
Haribol.
Haribol.
Wonderful. It's very nice. Krishna says, Yoga Shimoda. LIC has taken the slogan from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna in the same chapter says, Name Bhakta Pranashyati. My devotee will never perish. Right? 9.31. So many verses. I also want to bring our attention to this nice verse here, which talks about, is in the Srimad Bhagavatam. O King, one who accepts the process of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead will never blunder on this path in this world. Even while running with eyes closed, he will never trip or fall. And that's something. Isn't that amazing? That means, just imagine, it means it's such a, Krishna is giving such a safety net, that even if one tries, he's backing us up. Don't be don't be fearful. Don't doubt. Sanshaya. I will help you. He's there to protect us. He's there to help us. When we take one step towards him, he takes 1,000 steps towards us. He is more interested in us coming to him than we are interested in going to him. And it's not that he needs us for his own benefit. He needs us for our benefit. Because when the child is away from the father or the parents, the child will not be happy. And who is the true father, true mother, true everything? Krishna. So that is real Krishna consciousness. So that person will never be overcome even. Now Narad Muni says, what to speak of, now this was Arjuna's question, right? Like a riven cloud. What if that person is not materially successful? Sometimes we see that devotees may be, struggling through financial challenges or some relationship challenges, which will happen too, because the rules of the material world won't change. It's not that devotees will not fall sick or they will not get disease, etc. The rules of material world will be there, and but they are joyful even on those challenges. That's the difference. The outside people, they go into depression, have suicidal propensities, and even end up doing so, may not know how to deal with reversals in life. But devotees are so, as Visheshika Prabhu says, the kids go for MSF. And he says this is like a hands-on training, because people nowadays don't even have the social skill, especially the kids, because they're in their own Zoom and Facebook world only. They don't know how to talk. They don't know how to accept a no. But when they go and they try to share a book, they will hear a no from someone. Maybe they will hear some, responses which they don't want to hear, right? They want to hear, hey, please take this book from me. I really want you to take. They'll say, no, I'm not interested. They may hear a cold response. They may hear, this will prepare their consciousness. This will give real world training. So Bhakti helps in every aspect. So back to this verse in the purport here, Tyaktva swadharmam charanam bhuje hari. If one gives up, even material prospects and takes the shelter, charanam bhuje hari, of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhajan apakva, or bhajan bhi apakva reh gaya, paka nahi puri tarah. It didn't mature. The bhajan didn't mature. Apakva. Tatha patet tato yadi, and one falls down. So material life bhi reh gaya and spiritual life also not complete. So there is no loss or degradation in this way. On the other hand, one may engage fully in the occupational duties and yet not gain anything. So the point is, one could be a very, very successful doctor, engineer, lawyer, multimillionaire, PhD, and whatnot, all the batches, all the degrees in one's portfolio, but no bhajan, no use, as per the Shastras. Manushya Janama Paya Radha Krishna Na Bhajiya Janiya Shuniya Vishekhainu. We sang this bhajan this morning. Narottam Das Thakur says. So the success or the barometer of success in one's life is not how much money one has, how much degrees one has, how much big of a house one has, how many cars one has. The barometer of success is how much attachment we have developed to Krishna. Because something which is temporary cannot be the measurement of success. But what to do? Our society kind of forces us this way, that we think that all these material accomplishments are the barometer of success. But we are not saying that we have to be dumbheaded. And this is the point, that even one goes to the extreme of zero material accomplishments, but Krishna conscious, and that too partial, is much better than a lot of material accomplishments and zero Krishna consciousness. That's the point. So material accomplishments are like zeros, degrees, home, 1 0, 2 0, 3 zeros, family, friends, all these zeros. But when we add the one of Krishna consciousness, then the zeros have value when we add the one. Otherwise, 1 0, 2 zeros, 10 zeros, or 10,000 zeros are all zeros, right? So there is a preaching mission, so we have to nicely balance, not over endeavor for material life also, and not compromise our bhakti, and that needs balance, which we are all trying to achieve. Okay, so this is Krishna's opinion, that do not worry, my dear child, there is no loss or diminution. And what happens? There's a nice point in here at the end of 40th purport. It's a nice purport, so we're not reading all the purports, but you can read it. Activity in Krishna consciousness is the only auspicious activity, and anyone who voluntarily accepts all bodily discomforts for the sake of making progress in the path of bhakti or Krishna consciousness can be called a perfect transcendentalist under severe austerity. So that's the point here, that we should accept what is good and reject what is not good, even if the mind says the other ways, but we have to understand through the medium of intelligence. And then what will happen? There are two kinds of failure. One kind of failure is short practice, as Prabhupada is mentioning, two classes. One is for little progress, and one was fallen down after long practice. So for one who has taken this for a short practice, then he'll go to upper planets to enjoy some, worldly happiness, because that was the desire. Because what stops one from taking Krishna consciousness fully? Material desires. Very simple, right? Material desires. So even if one takes little bit Krishna consciousness and still has a lot of material desires, and let's say gives up the body, that person will go to the upper planets, fulfill the material desire. That's what he wanted. And then later come into a nice family of a rich person or a family of devotees. And that's actually the next verse. Basically, Krishna will give chance again. In the material life, one could be a king. Next life, one could be a pauper. Let's read text 42. Yes, Karina?
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Attava yoginam eva kuli bhavati dimatam etad di turlabhataram logi janmalar irshvasham. Translation by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Or if unsuccessful, after a long practice of yoga, he takes birth in a family of transcendentalists who are surely great in wisdom. Certainly, such a birth is rare in this world.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's read the next verse, 43. Yes, Ravi Prabhu, continue.
Hare Krishna Prabhu Ji. Tatratam buddhi samyogam labhate parvadehikam yatate cha tato bhuyaha samsiddhau gurunandana. Translation: on taking such a birth, he revives the divine consciousness of his previous life, and he again tries to make further progress in order to achieve complete success, O son of Kuru. Back to you.
Thank you so much. All these verses are in the same theme. So let's read 44 as well. Anyone who hasn't got a chance yet wants to read? Yes, Yashda Mataji, please. Very good to hear from you. Thank you.
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तैनैव ह्रियते हि अव्यस्तोऽपिहास जिज्ञासरूपी योग्यस्य शब्दब्रह्मतिव्रते. By virtue of the divine consciousness of his previous life, he automatically becomes attracted to the yogic principles, even without seeking them. Such an inquisitive transcendentalist stands always above the ritualistic principles of the scriptures. Haripur. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you. Thank you so much for so nicely reading these verses. So here Krishna further elaborates, for one who has sufficiently practiced, that means for a long time practice, what will happen? There is no loss on this path. There are multiple examples. Can anyone give examples that they did some practice, they couldn't successfully complete, but they didn't lose their previous bhakti? Anyone knows examples from the scriptures? Just heard the story of Jad Bharat, right? Sampada, you have an example in mind?
I was about to say the same, Jad Bharat.
Jad Bharat, okay, very nice. So we all know the story of Jad Bharat. Bharat Maharaj, he was the king of the whole, that's how we get the name Bharat, from Bharat Maharaj. He was at the stage of Bhava, an ultimate stage, one less than Prema. Actually, the acharyas say that he didn't actually fall down, but it was a lesson Krishna teaches through his devotees, that we should be very careful every moment in one's life. It's not that, okay, now I am a senior devotee, now I'm initiated, now I'm this and that, now in 10 years. Every moment till the last end of the life, we have to be careful, because he got attached to a baby deer and then he became a baby deer in the next life. So attachments are very strong. We should be very careful. And because he was thinking of the deer, he became the deer. But Krishna says, my devotee will never perish. So he was born as a deer in the ashram, near the ashram of our sages. And he remembered the mistake he had done. Does anyone of us remember the mistakes we have done in the previous life? We don't remember the mistake we did last week, right? What to speak of previous life? I'm talking about myself. You all don't do mistakes, right? So I'm just talking about myself. So the point is that he remembered that, oh, I'm such a fool. I got attached to this deer. Now I'm a deer. This deer is so dear to me. Alas, alas, alas. And then he was thinking of Krishna, hearing about Krishna, getting the remnants of the sadhus. So his bhakti was increasing. And the next life, he got another birth in the home of a brahmana. But he remembered everything. And he acted like a madman. Jada means like a pagal, like a mad. He was doing everything opposite. His father will say, well, you should wash your hands before the meal, and after you do your morning duties. He will do totally opposite. Whatever the father says, he'll do the opposite, knowingly, right? Otherwise, and there's a long story that how his brothers mistreated him and treated him like a scarecrow but later he met King Raghugana and then revealed his real identity, and King Raghugana became his disciple. The point was, and then later he went back to Godhead. So no loss. Shaubri Muni, similar example. It comes in the Bhagavatam as well. Shaubri Muni, it's in the Krishna books. Also the story is there. He was doing tapasya. He was more of a dhyan yogi, which we are reading this chapter. Mystic yoga, doing meditation, intense meditation, but saw the fishes copulating and developed desire to enjoy the opposite sex. Went to King Mandata. He had very old body, and then Mandata, he asked, I want to marry your daughters. Mandata could not say yes, could not say no, but didn't want his old guy to marry his daughters. He says, well, why don't you ask my daughters yourself? If they accept you, then you can marry. Like he thought it's a nice way to say no, because who will accept such an old person? because they will say no, and then I am kind of safe because I didn't say no, they said no. So what to do? And then go out from here basically. So now Shobhri Muni was a mystic, and they have special powers. So he transformed his body into a very beautiful young king, and then not only one, all 50 daughters said, we want to marry you. So he got married, all that stuff happened. And but later he also realized, what am I doing? Life is not meant for all this. And then he also got the topmost destination. Jatayu's example we discussed. There are multiple examples on this path. So the point is, those who have done sufficient practice, what will happen? They will take birth in an aristocratic family or in the family of the word used is in the Brahmana's family or in a devotee family. Yeah, the word used is yoga, shuchi, and samaha. Shuchi nam Srimatam gehe. Shuchi nam is those who have good qualities, basically referring to Brahmanas or devotees, Vaishnavas. Srimatam, those are prosperous. The point is that they don't have to struggle for the bread and butter. They can have prasadam and ghee, right? They can have the real prasadam in Krishna consciousness. So they don't have to struggle, where will I get my food? So it's all by karma and all by the transcendental acts. So now all of you have children, most of you have children here, and some of you are children in the family of such wonderful devotees. So as a duty, as a parent, it's very important responsibility that the children who are in your family are not ordinary people. They have done lots and lots of bhakti, and therefore they are getting a chance. For those who are adults here in 30s, 40s, 50s, etc., most of us were not born in such families. Some of you may be, but most of us were not born in a family where they had a very high spiritual. In India, everyone is pious to some degree, but the full-fledged understanding of Krishna consciousness, taking Krishna Prasad, reading Bhagavad Gita, was not the main goal, at least I can say. We used to, in my family, we used to go to temples and Govardhan, etc. So certainly some element was there, but not like a full-fledged. It was not the core function. The main thing which every parent wants, oh, my child should be a doctor, oh, my child should be an engineer, oh, he should be very successful, she should have the best of the grade, the best of everything, the best of, but that's fine, but that's not the main thing. The main thing is to keep the main thing, and the main thing is Krishna consciousness. So yes, other things, how much money they will earn, how much fame they will get, is pretty much predestined. Parents don't have a lot to control on that. Maybe there is some element there, and which everyone does without saying. Every parent gives the best food to their child, the best clothes, the best shelter, the best education, what they can do in time, place, situations. That is fine, but not every parent wants their child to be devotee. That should be the main concern of parents. That is why the parents are really parents of human parents, when they keep Krishna consciousness as the priority. Because the bird also gives the food to their child. The bird also builds a nest for their child. The tiger also gets the food for their child. So they are also doing it. So the real parenthood means, especially for devotee kids who are all present here, is to give a solid spiritual culture, is to give the environment where their bhakti can fructify in whatever state they had achieved in the past life. Maybe 10%, maybe 20, maybe 30, maybe 90, we don't know that. But certainly that is done, as Bhagavad Gita is confirming here. It is not a coincidence that they were born in your, Krishna has gifted to you. It's not a coincidence, it's a divine transcendental arrangement based on a lot of factors. So, and as kids also should try to understand that my parents are giving me that facility. Not every parent talks about Krishna consciousness with their child, so they must also try to receive it, right? Because most of the kids here are quite mature. You're not like 5 years, 2 years. For 2 years, 5 years, they don't understand. If the parent gives prasadam, they will eat prasadam. If the parent gives meat, they will eat meat. They don't have a choice. A 2-year-old does not have choice. But when after a certain age, the kids have choice. So we should try our best to provide that, knowing that Krishna has specially gifted these wonderful jewels because they were great devotees, and we should treat them with that kind of respect and devotion also. Sometimes it manifests in the forms of anger as well, which is fine occasionally. But that's also love of the parents. Okay, any comments? I think we have covered till what verse? 44. I think Vyas Prabhu, you want to say something or read the next verse? Yeah.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Sure, I think you're only 10 minutes, so let's take some thoughts or comments, questions. Yes, Prabhu, please.
Okay, first of all, Hare Krishna to all devotees, Dandvat Pranam. So my question is, I see there are many children attending the Bhagavad Gita lecture today, and I am very, I'm happy to see that. So, however, I have a question that which is the right age for a child to get into to introduce, into the Krishna consciousness? Please help me with this. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu, for your nice question. There can be multiple answers to this question. The earlier, the better. That's one straightforward answer. When Prahlad Maharaj was in the womb of the mother, he was hearing Bhagavatam from Narad Muni.
Okay.
Right? So
yes,
as devotees, it is recommended, even in the mother, actually it begins at the time of Garbhan Sanskar, because the consciousness of the parents determines the child, that they'll attract that kind of child. It's like
yes,
one has to buy a Ferrari.
yes.
You have to have the facility to get Ferrari, right? You can't say I have
Yep.
10 rupees, I want Ferrari.
Yes.
Similarly, if one is a spiritually enlightened soul, one has to show by the example of their bhakti that Krishna will send that soul who are waiting, right? But if one's
Yes.
parents are spiritually also weak, then they will get what they can get. Now,
Yes.
yeah, let me share complete Prabhu. So then now, when the child is in the womb, the child is hearing. There are so many proofs of that. Prahlad Maharaj, Parikshit Maharaj, etc., Abhimanyu, etc. Whatever the parents will do, the parents will watch movies. The child will develop proclivity towards movies. Very simple. So it should be the parents, especially, should hear Bhagavad Katha, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam stories, Krishna stories, simple kirtan, etc. Because the child is also hearing. What the parents eat Krishna Prasad, the child is also getting Krishna Prasad. Now, when the child is out, Prahlad Maharaj was doing it from the very young age. It's mentioned that Parikshit Maharaj was playing with Krishna dolls. Uddhav was playing with Krishna dolls, which we have in ISKCON, so many games, Krishna dolls, so many nice activities in this young age, nice stories, nice videos. So parents should, have all these spiritual toys, spiritual gift. There's so many things, even for a 1 year, for 2 year, 3 year, 5 year poems, everything is there. Now it's so developed. There's so many mothers, so many fathers practicing Krishna consciousness, and they have common vision. The vision is to give Krishna consciousness to the child. So, and then when the child comes to a certain age, there are classes based on the different age groups, like from 4 to 6, there's a different level of understanding. So from 6 to 10, there's different level of understanding, from 10 to 15. So enroll in those classes, help share through stories. So the right ages as soon as possible or as early as possible, because they are absorbing it. Whatever the parents are doing, they are absorbing it. There are people, 2-year devotee, I shared in the verse memorization, speaking verses of Bhagavad Gita.
Hare Krishna, Hare Bol.
That's
Wow,
amazing. 2
it
years.
is.
Hmm?
Mhm.
You know,
Yes.
there are devotees, they don't, their child does not speak anything else, but they speak verses of Bhagavatam. The elder
Very well.
sister is learning the bhajans of Gauranga Nityananda. Then the 2-year-old is speaking Gauranga Nityananda.
Very
Right?
well. Wow.
So the
Yes.
right age is as early as possible. And then there are so many living proofs here. You know, Karina, Thar, Vedi, Avni, Navya, so many devotees in our Tampa congregation. They all are brilliant. And actually, I always say this, not just to please the kids or the parents, but from my heart. Sunday evening is the best time of my week because I get to spend time with all these wonderful, great kids and learn so much from them in the Sunday evening class for the kids. So, because they're very
Mhm.
special. So, does that
Yes.
answer? But at the right age, in the right way to make bhakti fun and interesting. Like if we speak a very long story to a 4-year-old, they will not like it, right? So we have to make it interesting, fun, entertaining, enlightening, so that they relish it. And that needs good parenting skills as well. So parents should also keep become, and that's a big topic in itself, but a lot of lectures available. How should parents give Krishna consciousness to kids? Multiple lectures are available on this topic.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for your answer. Hare Krishna to all. Take care.
Very well. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, any other comments, thoughts, additions, reflections from what we have discussed today? Anyone wants to say something? We read till 44, right?
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhuji.
Very well, Lakshmi Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Very enjoy your Bhagavad Gita teachings every Saturday morning. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you. What did you like today from the Bhagavad Gita?
Yeah, I know. All the good stuff. Yeah. Thank you for teaching us. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your association.
Hare Krishna.
I'm very grateful to you. Anyone wants to say anything else? Okay, I think there are 2 more verses. Did we read 45? I'm kind of getting a... Did we read? Who read the last verse? Remember if we read this one?
Till 44 we read, Prabhuji.
44. I'll quickly read the translations of these last 2-3 verses so we complete and the chapter ends there. And then you can do a little more thorough reading as per your comfort. So we have a few minutes to complete this. So basically, when the yogi engages himself with sincere endeavor in making further progress, being washed of all the contamination, then ultimately achieving perfection after many, many births of practice, he attained the supreme goal. So this is Dhyana Yoga, remember? Dhyana Yoga, it's a long, lengthy process, may take multiple births. And yes, there is privilege here. Krishna is saying if one is unsuccessful or one does 50%, next life will start from 51. But that should not be taken as an excuse. That should be taken as like a worst case scenario. Like we hope for the best, plan for the worst. So in this thing, there is nothing to lose, but we should take it as why should I take multiple births? Let me do things that if my body ends due to whatever reason, I should go back home, back to Godhead by Krishna's mercy, by my endeavor. But the endeavor should be sufficient and sincere that no matter what may come, what tomorrow will bring, we don't know. But our endeavor should be such that we go back home, back to Godhead. Now the last 2 verses, EASY, the Y is the yogi. Who is the real yogi? 46 and 47. EASY, for those who are following the acronym. A yogi is greater than ascetic, greater than the empiricist, greater than the fruitive worker. Therefore, O Arjuna, in all circumstances, be a yogi. Now, There are different yogas, and those who follow the yogas are yogis. Yoga means to connect. Connection through karma becomes karma yogi. Connection through meditation, dhyana yogi. Connection through knowledge, etc., speculation, jnana yogi. But the best is, Krishna concludes, yogi nam api sarvesham mad gatin antaratmanam shraddhavan bhajate yo mam sami yukta tamo mataha. Important word here is yukta tamo. And of all the yogis, yoginam api sarvesham, the one with great faith, who always abides in me, thinks of me within himself and renders transcendental loving service to me. Bhajan is basically, it's not the word worship, it has a deeper meaning than worship, and that's the seva, transcendental loving service. So Krishna is basically now giving the seed verse for the following 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita, which are Bhakti Yoga, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. From Dhyana Yoga, the last verse in this chapter is giving the foundation for the following 6 chapters, which are Bhakti Yoga. And what is Krishna saying? One who is a Bhakti Yogi is the best. He is the most intimately united. He's most intimately united with me in yoga, and the highest of all. This is my opinion, Krishna is saying. I'm not saying this. No Tom, Dick, Harry is saying this. The Supreme Lord himself is saying, he's the best amongst my devotees. There is no one more dear to me than him. So the word bhajan is linked here. In Sanskrit, there are yoga tamaha, yoga taraha, and yoga like good, better, best, or high, higher, highest, right? The superlative degrees. So a karma yogi is the yogi is trying to connect through karma. Then the dhyana yogi is yukta, is trying to be absorbed, thinking of Paramatma, etc. And the perfection of dhyana yoga is the stage of samadhi, complete absorption. And that's called yukta taraha, one level up than yukta. But what is yukta tamaha? The highest of the yogis, the highest of the ones who are absorbed, that's bhakti yoga, yukta tamaha. Mad gatin antaratmana. That means complete absorption in Krishna consciousness. So you can read the purports as per your, they're very nice proof. It's quoting multiple verses here, but I just thought to cover this chapter real quick. So this basically, completes the first 6 chapters of Bhagavad Gita. And next Saturday, we have a special thing. What's that? Can anyone guess?
Kahoot!
Oh, you all want the Kahoot? I thought to give you in a more difficult way. I was thinking of giving like a more like a Google form kind of thing. Oh, no. Okay.
Kahoot's more fun.
Actually, you're right. Kahoot is more fun. Okay, let me think about it and modify it. Google form is more serious thing, right? Okay. Okay, so we'll do something, but yeah, that's not next week. You have more time to prepare for it. Because next week, I thought it will be very good for us to kind of get a bird's eye view of the first 6 chapters. We have covered in detail through 31 sessions, and in all glories to all of you for your continuous support, participation, and encouragement. Without you, it would not have been possible, right? So 31 sessions we have covered today. His Grace Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, who is especially known for giving the bird's eye view of making difficult things easy to understand. So we will speak on the first 6 chapters summary. So this, and then the following week, we'll have a Kahoot or a quiz of the first 6 chapters. So it gives you 2 weeks from now to prepare, to study the purports, the recordings, other lectures you want to hear, or however you want to prepare. The quiz will be from the first 6 chapters. Don't skip that day because maybe we'll do half and half. So we'll start the 7th chapter, and the last like half time we can utilize for the quiz or for the first 6 chapters, because I don't think we need like an hour and a half, because that will be too long. So okay, so everyone excited for that? Okay, so thank you again. I'm very, very grateful to all of you for your enthusiasm to study Bhagavad Gita together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Shri Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Thank you, Haribol.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, dear
Krishna
you, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Haribol.
Let me see if I get my